Tonight I'm going to talk about Popcorn Sutton. Marvin Popcorn Sutton was a very controversial figure in the western North Carolina, East Tennessee region. He was well known and eventually became nationally famous for being a moonshiner, making moonshine the old fashioned way. He was born in a small town in Maggie Valley, North Carolina. He eventually made his way over into eastern Tennessee on the other side of the mountain. But very well known in the region for making moonshine, and eventually books came out, documentaries came out. Let's see, Billy Ray Cyrus interviewed him on a documentary about moonshine. Johnny Knoxville showed up to check out the coffin that he had in his living room, which in fact he did end up being buried in. And this story has something to do with that. Now, you see, there was a big controversy, and it actually made the news at the time. But Popcorn, he had been catching charges for running moonshine since the 70s, like 74, I believe, was his first charge. He got caught several times, let's say, making moonshine with large quantities on hand, and he basically got a free pass. You know, he kept getting probation or they weren't really doing anything but a slap on the wrist to Popcorn. But eventually, he told the wrong person that he had almost 1,000 gallons on hand, and it wound up being an undercover or a federal agent. So it wasn't long before the ATF showed up and caught him holding almost 1,000 gallons of moonshine. And I think this was 2008, 2009, but Popcorn had made a statement that he basically was going to be the master of his own destiny. And in the days preceding when he was supposed to start his time, they slapped him with only 18 months. But maybe in his last act of defiance, Popcorn decided that he was going to choose his own destiny. And they discovered him from carbon monoxide poisoning one day. Popcorn had definitely wrote his own ending, and like I said, that's how they found him, was carbon monoxide. He chose that, and he made it very clear that he wasn't going to do any time, that he lived, and he was going to die the way that he lived. Now, personally, Popcorn, I've got mixed feelings about him, but he was definitely, to me, a piece of living history. He was like a living piece of history from a different time, had a wealth of knowledge from that time, something that maybe hasn't been passed on to this day. But here's the controversy, all right? Popcorn was so famous, it's not even that surprising that he was buried twice. Now, there was a big controversy among the family, uh, in particular among the wife and the surviving children of Popcorn. Well, eventually the widow won and had his body exhumed from the North Carolina family plot. Now, this is Popcorn's wishes was to be buried in the family plot next to his mom and dad, and that's where he was. Now, the story is that the widow put her headstone next to his without the family's permission, and they knocked it down the hill. Well, then in turn, she has the body exhumed, claiming vandalism, and moved across the border back to Tennessee, at his home in Tennessee. Well, the second procession, when they moved him from from North Carolina to Tennessee, it was the whole shebang. They got the horse-drawn carriage. Hank Jr. attended. It was a big to-do, and the widow said that's how Popcorn wanted to be remembered. He wanted a big celebration. Well, here's the rub, y'all. After all this controversy, and Popcorn's wishes were that he wanted to be buried with his mom and dad back in North Carolina where he's born. Well, within just a few hours of them putting the dirt over his new grave in Tennessee, there was a huge rock slide in the same area that he was buried, in those same mountains in North Carolina. It was a big rock slide. Now, a lot of people, locals especially, say that rock slide was Popcorn's spirit angry about them moving his body from North Carolina to Tennessee, because exactly in the same area that he had been buried, that same ground, there was a huge rock slide, and it shut down I-40 for months, literally shut it down for months. And that's like the main travel vein in that area. So it really crippled the area for a while. But folks say it was either Popcorn spirit or his folks' spirit raising hell because his body had been moved back to Tennessee. What do y'all think? Let me know in the contents. But this has been a little history and a story of Popcorn Sutton and his legacy. He lived to be a legend in his own time, and I hope you guys enjoyed the story. This is Jay's Haunted Appalachia. I have a new, different, true Appalachian ghost story for you every night. Also, if you have your own stories, if you have any true paranormal stories or experiences from Appalachia, you can check my bio here on TikTok. There's my email in it. You can message me directly, but I would love to hear from you. Maybe put you on the channel. You can be anonymous. You can get full bragging rights. That's up to you. But like I said, this is Jay's Haunted Appalachia. I hope y'all enjoyed my story tonight. Stay tuned for the next, and keep Appalachia haunted, y'all.